Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Reporter's Notebook. For those of you who have not watched Reporter's Notebook before, it's a fun segment where we get a chance towards the end of our days to sit down and chat with some of our reporters, even some people who work here in the newsroom like producers and editors, and just kind of get a little bit more of a background about what it's like to work here at a news station and just dive a little deeper into those stories that we cover each and every day for you guys. So today I'm joined on Zoom by Miss Kelsey O'Donnell.
Hi.
Hello, hello. So Kelsey had an awesome story today, and normally Kelsey on Fridays, I'm sure you guys know, does Feel Good Fridays, which are a loved segment by everybody. But she got to do actually a kind of a similar feel good story today. She got to do a story about a very inspirational local woman who is actually giving back to the community after, even though she's been through, some really hard times in her life. So Kelsey, who did you meet today, and what was the story that she's bringing to this community?
Right. So first of all, let me tell you, anytime I get to go out into the community and meet new people, it's just the greatest day ever versus having to be trapped here in my apartment all day. So I was on cloud nine, just being able to drive out there and go get a news car and drive around down to Tarboro. But today I got to meet, her name is Natasha Parker. So a little bit of a background. Natasha was diagnosed with cervical cancer, I believe it was about 2 years ago. So she struggled a lot with that, but it was just, I believe it was 6 months after her mother passed away from cancer as well. So she was very scared to go through any treatments. And through all of that, she struggled, she had 8 children, struggled financially and ended up losing their home and were homeless for a period of time. After she was finished with all of her cancer treatments. So fast forward 2 years, the story does get better. Natasha is doing much better now, is currently in a home with her children, but she wants to give back to the community. So she believed that her reason on this earth and her reason, that she struggled and overcame those struggles was because she was to be here to give back to the community. So for Thanksgiving, she has donated out of pocket money to families. It was first come, first serve. There were 50, I believe it was 50 or 60 boxes filled with Thanksgiving food. So turkeys, like big turkeys that you would see at Thanksgiving dinners that were enough to feed, goodness, a very large family. It looked almost like a small child. That's how big these turkeys were. And, stuffing and anything that you would imagine would be at a Thanksgiving dinner, that's what were in those boxes. And it was just incredible to be able to see that 2 years ago, she was in a much, much different situation. And now today, even during all of this coronavirus pandemic, all she wants to do is give back to the community because she feels that that is what she was put here to do. And it was just incredible to witness. I don't normally get emotional over stories, but listening to her story and hear how passionate she was just to help people in the community, no matter what your circumstance was just unbelievable and made me feel so grateful for everything, for my health, for where I live, for having a roof over my head, just the small things that we take for granted every day. Looking at Natasha just made me so grateful.
That's really awesome. Yeah, there are, we get those stories that really touch us sometimes, and it's hard to hold back those emotions because we really do in this line of work. We get to meet some of the most incredible people in our areas, in our local communities, which is such a blessing for us to get to meet each and every one of you. That is just so amazing. And you were talking about, her name's Natasha, and she used her own money to buy all of this food, and she bought gift cards. Am I correct on that as well? She bought like grocery cards?
So actually what had happened was she got donations from Sarah Lee. They donated about 500 items to these boxes, but she went out and purchased all of the turkeys and all of the other stuff, and then Food Line donated a few items, but most of the stuff came out of pocket from her, and then the first few people there, she called it having a blessing box, where she literally handed them cash out of her pocket.
Wow.
I was like, I have chills talking about it, just how awesome this woman was, just to be giving so much of her hard-earned money and her food that she bought that she could very well be keeping for herself, because we all know that during this pandemic, every cent counts. But she was just giving back to the community like no other, and just seeing the faces of people who were receiving them was even just as great as watching her donate and give that to them.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure it was beautiful to witness. And this is the second year she's done this, which is amazing. And just the fact that this woman, like you said, I mean, she went through cancer. She was homeless at one point. She has 8 children of her own. And she still makes the effort and makes it a priority in her life to take something out of her own pocket and give back. I mean, I can't imagine with 8 kids alone going through the things she's been through, and she still dives in her own pocket to give back to them. I mean, that's amazing.
The crazy thing too is when I was feeding her today before her interview, she was saying that a lot of the people were unable to come in because of all the flooding. And she showed me a video that even got me more emotional, because her home was flooded last night. And she showed me a video of her, I believe it was her husband, lifting her 2 grandchildren, walking through water that was well over his knees, just grasping on them. It looked like something from hurricane footage that we have at our station. And it was just unbelievable that she was still there this morning, still ready to give to the community, when at home she couldn't even, her home was flooded. And she said that they've been staying in a hotel. I think it's crazy to me that she has that big of a heart. I'm so thankful for her, and teaching me lessons to make me want to do more for the community.
Definitely, definitely. She is, Natasha, thank you. I mean, just so much. If you see this, thank you so much for all that you do. I mean, this is amazing. You are so selfless and so appreciated. I mean, you're able to give other members, other families in this community a special holiday that they might not have gotten, otherwise this year, if it weren't for you. So thank you so much for doing this for people in our community. And Kelsey, thank you for covering this story.
Thank you. We need more Natashas in the world.
Definitely. And she needs some recognition for just being an amazing person. I mean, this is such a selfless thing to do. I couldn't imagine. So thank you for covering this story and getting, her face out there and getting her recognized for just doing what she's doing. Because it's amazing.
It was great. It was awesome. It was a feel-good Friday that almost brought me to tears today.
Oh, yeah. Those can be the best.
I know.
Well, Kelsey will have some more on this story and a web article that will be posted for Online Originals later on tonight. So you guys can look forward to checking that out. And also stay tuned, of course, for our broadcast where she will have that story as well. So Kelsey, thank you for joining us. And thank you guys for joining us for this edition of Reporter's Notebook.